I want to go over a quick overview of what is transpiring so far in the crypto market. For anybody who's in MXC, we finally got a push out that we've been waiting for desperately, as now it's up 28.5% today. And we knew we were very close to MXC pushing because it was so undervalued. Look at this push that it made initially. And now I tried to wait for it to settle. It had a beautiful push all the way up to 4.2, and now it's back testing the breakout, which is absolutely perfect. If it can hold 3.6, this would be spectacular. So basically what we did was we moved from Z-back into this when it was on the lows. I mean, we still have some Z-back, but we moved a lot of it into here. And then it ended up popping for about 50% today. Now it's back down to about 26, but this could be the start of a push here for MXC. So we'll keep an eye on this during the live. I expect a lot of volatility. But this is what I try to do when I'm looking for opportunities, is I look for these ones that are on the bottom of the rails. And I know a lot of my audience has actually bought this. And I knew it looked like it was on an inverse head and shoulders that we talked about. And now we're back testing almost at the neckline perfectly. This should be a fantastic start here, because this could be showing us something bigger in the market, hopefully. Exactly. I love the background too. Yeah, and for transparency, I have 1.5, just over 1.5 million MXC. And, you know, we were able to get a lot of it under 0.003, which is not, or below that even, all the way down to as far as 0.026. But it was something that I kept talking about because I felt like it was so close to at least pushing. Now we have to see if there's a hold, because obviously it went 50%. It's right around the 50% retracement, which is what we're looking for. And honestly, I was a little nervous when it first broke up, because it came it started up and never stopped to back test here. And I know that we need to back test this area for it to even have a chance. It's a big inverted hammer as well, with a massive amount of volume that came in on MXC. So we had 304 million in volume, and we were only getting about 3 million. So we had about 100 times the volume on that 2-hour candle. I bought MXC on crypto.com. It's in my on my homepage. But again, we're gonna have to see how this plays out now, because we had such a volatile move, and now we have to see how the back tracement is. Yeah, it looks great at 24% or 23%, but you have to understand this looks like an inverted hammer. So technically, this could pull back almost as far as it pushed, if I'm being real. We could even see a pullback down to this breakout point at 323. But it was a significant amount of volume, and that's what you want to see for a start of a reversal. So I'm happy to see that. But again, I wasn't going to hold any bones about saying how fast it can come down to retest those areas, because absolutely it's going to, because it broke out way too fast. So hopefully this isn't a case where we had a 50% surge and it just gives it all back, which happens sometimes. But we do need to make sure these areas are cleared out. So it's something, at least in regards to volume coming out. And now we're up like, well, we got to wait to see how this settles, because we know we have the background here where we could come down. I'll watch this during the live. And at about the 0.0032 area is an area, but also if we can just hold in this range at 3.3, there's so many spots we could hold. But like I said, it was a substantial move, but now we have to see exactly where the consolidation ends and where we can try to push this next layer. So I've seen everything I want to see this morning with MXC. Like, I was actually surprised that it was the initial mover this morning. As you can see, I consolidated my list just a little bit to make it easier to see. Just because the more influential ones with the IoT and such, for all intents and purposes, I could have took this off the watch list because it had that move. But we're still waiting to see if this can hold, or if it's just going to give it back and break right back down. So it's an interesting prospect. But my initial focus this morning now is on MXC, obviously, being up 25%. I figured I wanted to be transparent with that at least this morning. So, hey, UB2B, welcome in, my friend. George, Jennifer, Arachi, welcome. Papa Wheelie, good morning. But as far as it goes with XRP, we imminently want to take back this $2.60 pivot point. Without taking back this $2.60, it's you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. we just haven't been able to push out of this formation just yet. It actually came down almost perfectly. Well, it did come down perfectly to 250. Let's Jennifer Kupiak's here, or Joseph Kupiak's here as well. I love it, love it. Bob Bertner, welcome in, and thank you everybody for being in Tom's Army. I really appreciate it. Marvin, Frankie, Amanda, welcome in all of you. Great to see everybody this morning. Let me get on track here with XRP. So this was our scenario. If we broke down and were unable to break 279, we would come down here and try to almost create an inverse right shoulder, which I overpulled it, but it's supposed to be right here at 250, as you can see, where the neckline's at. And it actually came right down to it. Now we're squeezed. Yes, 260 is one thing, but it's not even 260. We really have to get back over here at about 268. I don't know why I put 260 in the title, but well, that's the first layer. 260 is the first layer, but we've got to get above $2.68 and start pushing out of here. And if we do, it's going to be something amazing. We speculated that that dump before the weekend could have kept us from a 10 straight weekend to dump, because we did have the Tether Treasury just about 72 to 96 hours ago print $400 million in USDT, which is essentially the same thing as the U.S. government expanding the money supply by printing U.S. dollars. They don't exist. They just print them into existence, and then they act as if it's fact. And that's what they do with Tether. And oftentimes it's accompanied by a market pump. And I don't know about anybody who's in my Telegram, but I talked about if that was and I talked about this yesterday, if this was a fake and this was a actual orchestrated hack by Ethereum, which I thought it was, because the Ethereum owners or CEO and team came out and said that they are the ones who signed off on sending it to an unverified wallet. And I said in my Telegram, if that was a fake, this would be not after that initial drop, that it would end up being a short-term run, a rally with Ethereum. Was anybody in the Telegram when I said that yesterday? When I was asked a direct question of what this means for Ethereum, and I said if this was an orchestrated hack, like I felt it was, that in the short term we were actually going to rally after that initial dump. And now look what's happening. It's exactly what I said in the Telegram yesterday, because I felt like it was orchestrated. I didn't hold no bones about it. I said it's actually the opposite of a dump. Once this drop happens, it's going to be a short-term reversal. And that's exactly what happened, unfortunately. Now we know for a fact that this was orchestrated, because had this have been a real hack, there's no way Ethereum just bounced back and is over the hack point. It wouldn't have happened. But we can also see inverse head and shoulders that actually played out perfectly. Perfectly. And it's a shame that they do this to people, because the amount of people that were liquidated because of this, ungodly amounts. There were so many people in leverage in Ethereum trying to play the order books, which I never advise anybody to play the order books, because you gotta know a little bit more than just the order books to manipulate the manipulators. And you've actually got to have the wherewithal to be like, hey, this is a scam. Like this, when I read through it, I said, this is not right. This is not right. Because they literally said that they approved the move to an unverified wallet. That can't happen. How can they not know what a real wallet is? A real account. So to me, that was all orchestrated. They cashed out a lot of heavy investors. And then they come back and say, oh, we borrowed 80%. My cojones. That's not what's happening. So, you know, we just got to pay attention. That's why I said, even though we've dropped 9 straight weekends, I'm not convinced it's going to happen this weekend with the Tether printing. In fact, that drop actually did us a justice. Now, can it follow through wholesale? Hopefully. Like, we've got Algo back up to almost 27 cents. We've got IOTA up 4.1%. Doge up 2.7. XRP's lagging behind the competition right now. XLM's up almost 2.75%. DGB looks like it's trying to round this bottom, and it's actually holding the breakout point. So, I mean, where I targeted this for the breakout, you can't make that up. I put that there so long ago and said that on the back test, this would be the perfect spot to measure from. And now if it is actually moving here, that's, to me, the ideal breakout point for DGB. And it actually did it at that exact spot. So it's one thing to say that charts don't matter. It's a whole nother thing to say the reality of a chart. You know, and this is actually off a little bit, which is ironic. But nonetheless, it moved up. But that's why I had that point right there. So Yeah, Bybit. I don't trust Bybit. I don't want to listen to Bybit. Because I know they're scam artists, and they've just proved it to me. They proved it to me yesterday. I knew that there was some liquidity things that they were finessing, and after yesterday, I have zero question that Bybit's a hack. And what they did to orchestrate that drop, literally, they crucified the market. And you know what's funny? It wasn't just the market, like I said yesterday. You know how I knew this was all a rig yesterday? It was a pan sell-off. Does anybody know what a pan sell-off is? I'm going to go blow my nose, but if anybody knows what a pan sell-off is, let me know and then I'll explain it. Because that's what happened in all markets yesterday. Whoops, I gave it away, kind of.
Dan reads all of medical terminology. Tell Daddy's audience. You say hello.
He's in a
Say
good mood.
hello. Say I'm a spooky. Daddy's back.
Pan meaning all, so market wide. Yes, indeed. Oh, T.
He wanted to talk to you.
Look, buddy. You take that?
He was answering your
Whoops.
question.
But a pan sell-off, everybody. That's all markets. It's basically the powers that be. They will orchestrate a drop, and they will put something in the news, something in the notes, to where it makes it look like retail is dumping, but it has zero to do with retail, in my opinion. So I believe this was a pan sell-off, and that's a market-wide sell-off. And if we go through it, the NASDAQ got hammered, the Dow got hammered. Gold and silver fared fairly well, but commodities got destroyed on the back end. The only one that was put on a gain is B2 Gold, which makes absolutely zero sense because they missed earnings by 81%. But they still made a profit, but the overzealous. Nope, we haven't looked in deeper into Algo. I was just trying to go around the market real quick. But you know what? Somebody did bring up on X that Ethereum is talking, or that at least the powers that be. And I wonder if I could even find them, because I don't follow Ethereum on here, because I don't. Oh, no, Bybit. Never mind, Bybit. What am I talking about? I don't follow Bybit on here, but police have released an AI-generated illustration of the Bybit hacker who stole 1.5 billion in Ethereum. He was spotted in a cafe running custom. An AI-generated. See, I'm telling you, this AI shit is getting too much. They released an AI-generated picture of the guy who was a hacker. Why don't they just put the Bybit logo on there? I mean, seriously, what the hell is this? This makes me even more, like, are these people serious? Like, do they really not know that we can see that they orchestrated this? Like, that's the crazy thing. Whether or not this guy hacked him or not, remember, everybody, he didn't hack him. Bybit voluntarily sent over all of this to an unverified wallet address. They moved cold wallet storage to an unverified. That's no different than me sending my wallet to an unverified account and it getting stolen. Nobody hacked it. I just sent it to a hacker. Like, this is unbelievable that they can actually perpetrate this and people think it's for real. And the fact that they're going to get all of their money back from governments, like, think about it. If we lost 1.5 billion sending it to an unverified wallet, are we getting it back? I know you know the answer is no, because I know, like me, in the past, when you first started trying to send crypto, at one point you lost either a small or large amount. Mine was a very small amount because I was stupid, but it still amounted to like $150 on one of my first ever tests to send, and I could never get it back. So, like, this is all orchestrated. This is one of the biggest orchestrations of fraud that I have seen by an exchange since FTX. And they verified it. They verified the transaction. So they handled it well. They did this, they did that. No, they didn't. They actually signed off on user funds going from a cold wallet, mind you, their own cold wallet. And they verified to an unverified account. It doesn't make any sense. What idiot would verify to an unverified wallet? What idiot would link? And you're going to tell me that Bybit, one of the world's largest exchanges, can't tell the difference between an unverified wallet? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And man, oh man, when the fire comes out, if anybody's using Bybit after this, it's on you. Even the guru came out yesterday, which I've been criticizing him for years for using Bybit and promoting it. Oh, we might have to take our money off of Bybit because it seems they have some liquidity issue. No, really? What was your first clue? The fact the order books never fill when you're trying to fill large orders. The fact that when you try to sell, it's like a 3% disparity, even if the order book's filled. Like, there were so many red flags there. It's so crazy. It just gets me so fired up because so many people just let them off the hook. Oh, look, they borrowed 80% and they got their user funds whole. Get out of here with that. What happens the next time you try to sell out? What happens when the hacker, and here's the real deal. Now they're going to say on Monday or Sunday when the market dumps, if it does, because right now XRP's got to make a move. This is what they're going to do. Well, they borrowed 80%, but you know the government's going to bail them out. I guarantee it. Who do you think gave them that 80%? They're not just taking out a loan for good looks. They said let me put it this way. They said their exchange was solvent, but they had to take out a loan of 80% of that hack to pay back user funds. Does that sound like a solvent exchange? I don't think so. Because what they did was they literally took a large part of their capital and just sent it over. Basically like how our elders handed our country over on a silver platter. Bybit just handed over their user funds on a silver platter with a backroom handshake. I guarantee it. You think this was not by design when the government, I told you, they always find a way to dump the market within 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours after they print Tether Treasury so that they can buy in on an extreme dump. Is this any different? About 48 to 72 hours later, once again, this comes out, the market dumps by 10 to 15% market wide. And now the government, I guarantee, got to put in that $400 million. And we're already up a substantial amount this morning. Just think about it. It's insane how it happens on repeat. On repeat. So good morning. 11:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. It's a beautiful excuse to dump the market. And now the government's got a stronghold again. They're the buyers and seller of last resort, not just in the crypto, not just in commodities, not just in the stock market, not just in hell, even if you want to go forex, but they're also the buyers and last resort or sellers of last resort of the bonds. The 10-year government bond dropped 8 basis points on Friday. That's a big drop. How much you want to bet they're going to buy up the debt on Monday? How much you want to bet something happens on Monday or Tuesday where they buy the shit out of this debt and all of a sudden we have a miracle take place in the bond market, in the equities market? How much you want to bet? Like this just smells so wrong. The only good thing right now is the total 3's outperforming the total crypto market cap, which means altcoins are outperforming, which a big part of it is probably because MXC is up 23% this morning. That definitely helps. They're not a huge market cap, but it definitely helps. It's honestly a surreal feeling to be able to go from ZBEC and then move into MXC, and then this happens. I think MXC and ZBEC were out front of the market. I think something big is happening right now. And we've talked about it. Now, are we going to dump for a 10th straight weekend so far? No. But a couple Saturdays we had good runs, and then on Sunday we just gave it all back and then some by about 10%. So I want to see if all of a sudden all this good news with Bybit is going to help reverse the market, because that was our speculation yesterday. Man, I wish I could go back to the question. That Telegram, I don't know if I pinned it in my live. I think I did, but that's the link to the Telegram. And then it'll allow you to come in here and continue the discussion. Man, there was so much discussion. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Let's see. But I know, I mean, there was a lot of comments and talking. Let's see. Almost here. Told you, we have a lot of talking. So, hi, Tom. You think the market will go down because of this? And I said, if it was an inside job, ironically, the opposite would occur in a short period. And you know what's funny about that? After a short period, Look at Ethereum now at 4.2%. Like, I don't want to say we were all over that BS, but in the Telegram and in the live, we were all over it in real time. And I'm not afraid to tell the truth that, hey, if this was an inside job, you're going to have an immediately push up after that drop. Like, it was so obvious. This is too obvious. So it's a pretty remarkable thing when you see what they're doing to retail. It really, really is. I wanted to touch all around crypto right now just to kind of get on a good pace here. But it's just what they pulled on Friday was probably the worst example of market manipulation since FTX. And this is even worse because they literally acted like they handed it over on accident to an unverified wallet that they signed off on. The CEO and team came out and said it hours late, right when it was happening. Whoops, our bad. We signed off to an unverified wallet. It had the exact same logo and everything, and they tricked us. Get out of here. You guys really believe they don't have anti-phishing things that separate a scam from a come on, if we do that with our email, you're going to tell me they're not going to have 10 steps this Sunday to make sure they don't send it to the wrong place? Like, anybody who believes that also believes that Trump controls the actual flow of money in the USA, or actually controls all these plane crashes. Like, everybody wants to talk narratives. Like, if you really believe that the government isn't at BS with the central banks, we don't have a chance. We don't have a chance. And look at the national media now. Everybody's blaming Trump for the market drop, for the plane crashes, for everything else, while who goes unscathed? The government. The bad actors who are actually doing it. The central banks behind the scenes. But we can't talk too much about that or we get banned. So, and since I started in March of 2021, I've never missed a day. I plan on keeping it that way. So I don't talk about a lot of stuff. I just, in a roundabout way, let everybody see how this all ties in, because if it wasn't for the manipulation that we see now, I feel like this manipulation has given us all the validation in the world for another move up. But look what happened yesterday. Between XRP, ADA, Shiba, Doge, and Red, crypto liquidations topped $556 million on Bloody Friday because of the Bybit hack. Do you guys remember how all the altcoins were actually rallying yesterday before this happened? Have I heard of zero, bro? No, I haven't, Sean, honestly. I have not. Yes, and I did notice there was 222 people watching when I was talking about that, which is incredible. Sign of the angels watching over us. Now it's up to 228, but it was so look at all of this liquidation. And the cool thing about this is if we go to the let's first look at the crypto fear and greed index. I don't want that now. What is all this crap? Isn't it funny? More and more ads, blah, blah, blah. We're back down into neutral, which is good. I like neutral. That was about the, and isn't it funny too? Right after the SEC, it came out that they were going to drop the case against Coinbase. This happened like an hour later. Or 2 hours later. So right after the market pumped on the good news, they dropped that right at the end on Friday. Actually, it was before the end of Friday. It was in the morning while we were live. But isn't that amazing how they do stuff like that? It's amazing to me. But XRP, I'm going to continue to push this point. There is so much liquidation above that even if you had no idea of a chart, you would say, oh my God, it's got to come up there at some point. Yeah, we've got a couple $100 billion down here at 223 and 225 and 227, about 400 billion at 225. You got that same gap area right here at 283 and 281. But look up here. This area just continues. And some people on that drop, you know, the short traders, some people might get out. But something is up here. You're talking about a large area that just continues to expand out. And I want to see how this plays out, because now all of a sudden it goes from 285 and everywhere from 285 up, you've got 170 to $500 billion, all the way from $2.83, all the way up to this area up here at $5 or 322. There's 561 billion. Like, there's a 30-cent range there, 40-cent range, where there's so much liquidity to be taken. I would be stunned if it doesn't come get it. I would be absolutely dumbfounded if it doesn't come get it. And the funny thing is, Ethereum with that move yesterday, look what else it did. If you want to be honest and real with yourselves, look what it did. There was the area that it double bottomed in here with the order blocks where we had liquidation, where it started building up after the resistance, and they literally took it out in real time. And now you've got the upper liquidity area that, look, it created a V-shaped recovery. And then all the way up here is where it looks like we're going to try to take out this liquidity area. It all looks like we're building a cup up there anyhow. It's a long, sideways, choppy consolidation, which is fine. But we've got so much liquidation that it's insane. It's insane. I don't think they have MXC on here. See, they don't have some of these smaller ones, which sucks. But let's just keep it on XRP and go back to the charts. But there's so much liquidation above. Just doesn't make sense not to go get it at this point. So MXC is something. It's definitely Ethereum Gate was the first clue Ethereum. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we know Eric Trump talked about pumping up Ethereum. So is it any surprise that this would happen before the real push? I think not. I think not. But it is nice. I'll be honest. It is nice to see MXC up 23%. After an initial surge. We'll go deeper into that chart. I got to blow my nose. It's going to be one of those days where I'm draining. But hopefully we're getting past this now. And we're going to get into the XRP technical analysis right when I walk back here, because that's my next thing I want to talk about. Next thing I want to talk about. And for all intents and purposes, I can clean up this chart because I don't need it anymore because we have it right in front of us. So that's your optic, and then I'll show you the bigger optic as well. Am I too loud? Thank you for coming out here. Oh, good. Thank you. You got it on my desk.
No, took it out of money.
Oh, you did? I'll be back. But she has enough money for Grand Rapids now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's ironic she's going to Grand Rapids, isn't it? Here, Julie. Here.
I don't need it.
Oh, okay. We go into 359, like Schwartz tweeted Q2. XRP sentiment is so good right now. Constant stream. Like the sentiment is, it depends. If you're looking at social media sentiment, not so good, because a lot of people are calling for a big drop. But as far as the sentiment of the charts, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing. Like, even if it comes down into the bottom of that channel, which I don't want it to, puts a floor around 222, ironically. But in this short term, we can forget all the rest. It created what looks like an inverse right shoulder has formed here. Like, it really looks like that has formed here. And I want to... And then you got this. See, we're navigating this resistance here. And it's been a resistance. Boom, 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 down, boom, 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 down. So we need to push past these areas. There's no doubt about it. Like, we have to get past here. It doesn't really matter what anybody says. We have to get past here. If we don't get past here, we got a problem. You know, if we can't submerge or, you know, push ourselves past here. But I still think this is going to end up playing out as a unique neckline right here, the bottom of this channel. Like, it was support, then it was resistance. Now it's back to support structure. That looks like a neckline that was created right in front of us. And I'm very happy about that. Like, and then if we go into another chart, because it is so choppy, that 260 is important. That's the pivot line right now. And that's why, look how it chopped into this area. See how it's chopping into it? That's the pivot area. Once it breaks it, you're going to have a volatile surge if it breaks to the top side. That's how these are meant to work. That's why you're getting this ultra volatility of highs to lows, highs to lows. It's choppy. And then they end up getting smaller. And if they break out, they do this. So the fact we're chopping in here now we have to make the decision. Is this bullish? And we're running out of space. Resistance, support, resistance, support. Resistance will tighten up. And it gets tighter until they eventually either break out or break down. So now you're playing the pattern. And if this is an inverse right arm, your technical move would be all the way to the top of this at the end, but it would have to break out of the short-term narrative. And I understand we're trying to not have a right shoulder here. We're trying not to have a right shoulder. A surge to what? Well, it depends. Are you talking short or long term? The short-term breakout is still the descending wedge target that we formed. And that would be $3.27 all the way up to possibly $3.42. But if you break out of this, your next push is going to be back to the top of the broadening wedge. So $3.82 in totality. And once you break out of the broadening wedge, then you can target the $5.49. So, oh yeah, Ethereum's trash, FYI. That has no real utility except what the government gets it. Edgar, good question. I'll try to continue to show the targets. I try to show the short targets first, so we can kind of start in from the short to long. Then we'll go into the XLM next and DGB and so on and so forth. But we got to get past these short targets. So the first immediate resistance is $2.60. And then we've got that $2.68 that if we break above, now we can start layering up. Then we got 279, 298. I think it's like 312. But the technical descending wedge in the short term, mind you, there's a much bigger pattern of a broadening wedge. And then there's a much bigger pattern outside of that. But we've got to go layer by layer. The broadening wedge was formed on the break up. And now we've got resistance, resistance, support, support. You need 2 hits to confirm a broadening wedge. And if you come in a bearish fashion, they're a bearish. It's basically a breaking down pattern of consolidation for a further breakdown. When you come in from an upward momentum, traditionally a broadening wedge is just a bullish consolidation to where you push out, and the technical target, if we broke out here, would give us right up to 528. But like we've said, if we push this just out into the future, and we say it's going to take until like March 9th or so, maybe a little bit longer, look where this actually sets you up. Remember the technical target out of the initial pattern when we started? Out of that 7-year descending wedge at 549. Is this not ironic that it's in the exact same spot? That it gets you into those exact same spots? Even when it looked like a pennant flag, that it ended up turning into a broadening wedge, the technical target was still around 540. So everything is pointing on a breakout that's where we're going to go. I agree DGB is the best hidden gem in the market. It's got 5 layers of security through algorithms. Like, so if you think it's going to be breached like Ethereum, try again. It's a non-profit, so technically it can be tax deduction. You can get a tax deduction on DGB if you understand the tax code. And there's so many unfounded fundamentals there that are not typical with crypto that it does get overlooked, but I still firmly believe 5031C, absolutely, Shane. Look at this audience, Julie. Spot on. Knew it's a 5031C for the tax write-off. Love it. Just picked up 600,000 DGB yesterday, somebody said. Well, in that case, let's take a look at DGB, up 3.3% today. As we know, it's in the predicted breakout range. We are in the predicted breakout range, as that's where I targeted the breakout. And if that does play true, I mean, it's coming up to 2 cents. Could you imagine from 0.008 to 2 cents right off the bat? I still think that's rounding the bottom. Whether it's the time or not, we'll find out in a very short time frame. I kind of want to get rid of some of these lines. Hey, I seen a donation. I'm gonna have to look at that in a sec. I want to get rid of, well, I guess I can't get rid of these because that's the technical push up out of this breakout. Oh no, that's why I have it. And then that's the technical breakout after this cup, if this handle in the short term fills out. John Patek, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation, and also being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. I also see Richard here, who picked up the DGB yesterday in Tom's Army for his 2nd month with the I Told You So badge. Frankie Fresh in Tom's Army for his 1st month, although I feel like it's more than that, but I could be wrong, with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. What did he say? Tom, I can buy DGB through my wallet. Is that a good idea? If you can buy it through your wallet, hey, you can be strategic, Sean. Be strategic with some of your DGB profits. Think outside the box, sir. That means it absolutely can be tax deductible if you're smart about it. They're not just going to give you a tax deduction for trading crypto, but tell me what other crypto you can donate and have it tax deducted if you want to sell it, write off a portion. So here's the deal. Let's say you own 35%. You have to pay a 35% tax hit. With creative book working, you could theoretically, let's say, donate a portion of it and pay less than 35% and keep more by donating. 501c, buddy. That's exactly what we're talking about. But you have to actually make it a donation. It's a donation. It's not just a donation if you hold it and sell it and put it in your pocket. You've got to do some kind of humanitarian work, let's say, by giving away some of the profits. No different than what some people do in IRA or different things where they'll put away like 30 to 40%, or what is it? But yeah, no, Sean, I am so glad you said that because I needed to elaborate more, and it would have sounded stupid to just say, oh, we can sell it and write it off. Somebody needed to make me elaborate on it. I'm glad you did, so I appreciate that. And Sean is our main man from Maine. He's been in this audience since day one, basically. He's watched this cycle with us from 21 to 22, 23, 24, 25. So he's been around. He's actually done very, very well with his portfolio. Very freaking well. Makes me very happy. Actually, he was the one who told us about Turbo, as a matter of fact. Earlier last year, before it had that ungodly amount, that ungodly run, he allowed me to turn like, what was it, $1,500 into almost, what was it, 8 or 9 grand. And I wish I would have put more in it, to be honest with you. That's right, Shane. The Bill Gates type tax deduction. You are right about that. Oh, yeah, Sean helped me make and everybody in the audience, too, who was watching last year when we started talking about Turbo because of Sean. It was just incredible how it ran. I haven't looked at it recently, but my optics have been somewhere else. But it definitely allowed a quick 7 to 8. It was unbelievable, actually. Yeah, Sean made 40K in that time on it. That is awesome. Been watching Turbo a while. Is it a good to buy now? I haven't looked at Turbo in a while, to be honest with you. We'll look at it if we get more of a chance. But I stopped focusing on Turbo because once I made the profits, it was kind of like, oh, now it's on to more money into the IoT tokens. So right now, we are rounding this bottom very nicely. The only optic I see here right now is we created a little bit of resistance here on this consolidation outside of the descending, like the descending wedge. We've created just this, and it's not major, but if we're going to be honest with ourselves, and I like to be honest with my audience, we created a tiny bit of resistance in a small little pattern here. And I like to look at them, hold on. I like to look at them more like this. Probably, I'm going to have to maybe get a different time frame. Absolutely, that's a good way. That's exactly our problem right now. We're up at resistance. So even though we're breaking out of that descending wedge, as long as DGB can get back above 0083 approximately, it'll have a small push to 0088 roughly. Once it gets above that, that's your confirmation. So we had an overzealous dump down to retest the support structure on the descending wedge and the breakout back test. And now, if we can start pushing, there's a nice reversal there trying to line up. But that's what you need to look at. Amanda, thank you so much for the $9.99 donation. Also being in Tom's Army for several months with the XRP Meteor. I love it. I got to read the comment, too. It kind of disappeared on me.
It says, thank you for always giving us great information, Tom. Love your spunky sense of humor.
Amen to that. I'll read it again once it comes across the screen in case you couldn't hear Julie. But that's what a ringing endorsement. I really appreciate that.
Spunky sense of humor.
I do have a spunky sense of humor. It's a spicy meatball sometimes. But that's what I'm looking at. We're at a long standing after that breakout. It's been a beautiful time. What is going on here? Oh, okay. It's been a beautiful time to consolidate. And if we look, she said, thank you for always giving us great information. Tom, love your spunky sense of humor. I thank you for that. And thank you not only for being in Tom's Army, but your third YouTube super chat. That's incredible. I really appreciate that level of support. So we've got, if we just look at this in the honest way, resistance, support, resistance, consolidate, can't get past the resistance, touch support, get back into this little wedge, descending wedge, break out, back test, create a little resistance, got to get past. I know it sounds crazy, but this is what happens when it looks good. I know everybody would think it would just be the common breakout, but let's for a second look at MXC. And I know it's only up 20% now because it has come down. But remember, we have to clear the gap areas. There was an extreme gap that was created after this push out. And to be honest, we might even have to come back a little bit farther, like 3-3. But that looks like a massive inverse head and shoulder that's now back testing this neckline appearance. So I'm not upset about this at all. I'm going to be very interested to see if they bring it all the way back down, because this, in the longer sense, in the daily, that looks like a. I know my audience knows what an inverted hammer is. That is massive, and that volume, you want volume to accompany a breakout, and it's got 284 million in volume on this exchange today. Yesterday, 117 in the sell-off. But if you look at the daily, 63, 65, 104, 19. These are all sell-off big volumes. But the average volume before sell-offs, and then you see, we had a big compounding buy order. Something changed. Something changed here. Now, the problem with some of these that are very low market caps, like MXC right now, and it's not that the market cap's crazy low, it's just the fact that there's not a lot of traffic. You can do this with the trading bot and take out a bunch of liquidity over the top, shortchange everybody to get them out, and then before it rallies again, most people are out. I'm not seeing anything that pisses me off on this. I actually am happy about this. The only problem is that when you see something like this, you just want to make sure the volume's crashing on the crashing price, which is absolutely happening. We had a better than 50% pullback, and the volume went from 216 million to 42. So crashing volume, crashing price, recipe for a bullish continuation. So I'm expecting another surge here. Now, I would not be surprised if it came back down here and tested like 3-3, 3-2. I just wouldn't be surprised, because there is a looming gap that is probably going to have to be dealt with around that area, if I'm being honest with everybody. It's right around here. I can't tell because I'm not doing deeper research if it actually... No, I don't think it tapped it yet. So there is that optic of 3116. But it doesn't necessarily need to. Big inversion. We'll just see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out. It's an exciting moment. ZBCN had a massive breakout. It actually came back down and retested this area. My problem is I really wanted it to come back down here a little bit farther. I wanted it to clear that gap. It's close. Did come close. Out and about and back. I mean, we were very much within the line of range here, because this was at 00138. It came down to 00141. Went all the way up, then came all the way back down to 001449. It's close. It's very close. And remember, when we drew out ZBCN before that 150% breakout, this was our expectation. Now, I will tell you right off the bat, that could be a great sign right there in the daily, assuming it doesn't come down and it finishes as a close above the midpoint. Now, we do have a nice consolidation, so if it plays out like this, it absolutely came all the way back where I had talked about it needed to come back here, and it actually tapped it yesterday, which is incredible. So we'll see. We will see. They talked me into update, and all my XRP was gone. Whoa. I got to go blow my nose, and then we're going to have to read about this scam that somebody got, unfortunately. Sounds like they got taken for XR. See, that sucks. That's why I hate crypto in a sense. Julie, that might be the hardest part of doing this show. Seeing all the people that get hacked and lose their hard-earned tokens. Because that sucks. Because that's a livelihood being put into something and then it just gets hacked away. There's so many phishing schemes right now that it's so hard. It's so hard. We're going to get into some news and notes as well. I just want to read this comment because that's a shame. Let's see. Jorge, thank you for that. Thank you guys for modding what was going on there. I appreciate it. Tom, did you buy NKE North Korean Ethereum? Put money in and you don't get it back. Oh. I did not put any money in the North Korean Ethereum. I didn't even know. I did not put money in there. I want to read some of this. We'll get into H bar and Algo, I promise. Let me go to H bar next. We also got to do XLM.
You need it?
I want to read this comment. I love the knowledge. Stiller says that's how DGB files taxes. What you put into the company is the only tax credit you get. Till laws change, 5013C means DGB files like a church does. Absolutely. So, I mean, there's ways to finesse the book. So, you know, it's a weird thing. Let's see. I want to read this comment. I said yesterday it keeps dribbling around. It sure does, Kawabunga. It sure does. I have Zaman, but I use Tangent Cold Wallet. You had Tangent, but got scammed out of 12,000 XRP, and they are impossible to get in touch with. Be careful with them. Oof. Yeah, very careful with them. If you can't get a hold of Tangent, I don't use Tangent. I like Zaman personally.
Do you want me to order the stuff first?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go home.
Oh, bye, Mimi. It was good seeing you. Yeah, Julie, order the stuff for soup.
Down.
I
need to go home and
wow.
pajamas back on.
Wow, that is awful. 12,000 is almost. That's like $30,000. Oh my god. Unbelievable. That's part of the worst thing about crypto. Like, you have to worry about it with certain stock brokerage exchanges. Like, maybe they'll halt something, or they'll make you send extra layers of verification, or maybe they'll block your account for a minute until they can figure things out. But the fact in crypto, when this happens, it literally gets taken right off of your ledger, taken right off of your wallet. It's, I don't know. It seemingly it feels like this is a lot of it's inside jobs, and that's what bothers me. For H-bar, we've had this very defined descending wedge that, much like DGB, we're on the outside of it, but much like DGB, we've created this area where now all of a sudden, if we can push out, well, we're in business. And this isn't even accurate, so don't think it is. It's supposed to be like this. Because I go from wick to wick. So, I don't know why. Because when I look at my phone, the screen's so much smaller. Sometimes I accidentally pull it down a little bit. And then when I come back on here during the live, I have to fix it. Because I'll look at it and be like, that's not how it looked when I was looking at it. Like, we're not at that exact spot. We're actually right on the breakout. And that's why it looked weird. But you can see we're trying to push the breakout right now. Like, H-bar is trying to push the breakout. And if it does, H-bar is going to come all the way back. First layer should be somewhere around here, 28 cents, if it does break this properly. Now, understand, even though it looked like a big descending wedge, which I like saying that, but we also did create like this consolidator right here. So, you know, this is your initial breakout. So you can start to see how it starts to work out with itself. So I'm not going to keep that there, but that was the consolidation right there. So, I mean, if I was a bet man, I would say, after that drop yesterday, the orchestrated dump by Bybit, things are looking pretty good in the alt market, in the altcoins. It could have been the thing that opens up some eyes for utility as well, hopefully. I know some don't like up. Okay, well, this'll really grind my gears. I know some don't like Uphold, but they have a partnership with Ripple, so that tells me they can be trusted. No. Let me stop you right there, my friend. XRP Future Millionaire, right? They've still locked Julie out of 1,000 XRP that she still can't get to this day. All they said after 4 years or 3 years of tax returns when we were making decent money off of Uphold, they said that they regret to inform us they can no longer, and I showed the audience, they can no longer give us service. And not just that, they have never given her access back to her account. Now we're dealing since almost a year and a half now. And if I can't get it back, if it happens to you, you've got zero chance. And I have influence. So if I can't get it back, and their so-called partnership with Ripple, I don't trust that as far as I can fucking throw it. So I would never endorse Uphold. I used to until we started having an issue with somebody in the audience. They had a very large portfolio, over 6 figures, and Uphold locked them out. And he's very boldly said on my live said, hey, I know it's not happening to you, Tom, but it will. It will. And guess what? It did. And I'm only fortunate that everything got taken out but 1,000 XRP. But the bottom line is it's a horrible nightmare. Because when they did that to us, it was only at 57 cents or some shit. And now because of where it's at, you think now instead of it being, 1,000 shares worth $500, now it's worth like 2.5K that they're just holding. And it's not just me. It's not just somebody else in the audience. This has happened over and over again with Uphold. And yeah, some people have no issues. So issues are expected, but how they deal with it is important. Absolutely. I've try again with Uphold. I've been trying since last March. Currently still dealing with them. What do you mean try again? Like, we can spin the narrative how you want, but if I'm telling you this is what's happening, this is where I get a little bit insulted. Like, what do you think? I just stopped trying to get my money back for Julie? You guys think I just stopped contacting them? Like, seriously, wake up, everybody. If you guys really think I stopped communication, but that's the problem. I can't say anything when it comes to an exchange because if you have your personal attachment. So I say just be careful. This is my personal experience. They're still holding 1,000 XRP that are not theirs. So that's all I can say about that. You guys will work through the landmines as you will, but unfortunately, that's my experience. And I was a proponent of Uphold in the beginning because they allowed XRP to stay on it. And then they were talking about the wallets, the cold wallets. And they said they were going to make you pay for the very cold wallets that they promised. So, but is it another situation like Bybit where you're going to put it on their cold wallets and, oops, we hit the wrong button, sent it to the wrong wallet. So I wish they would send it back so I wouldn't have the grudge, but they never did. But remember, I had an error work in my favor to where this doesn't even matter to me anymore. The only reason why the gods worked with me, and some of you remember, do you guys remember the HOTCOIN issue I had when I sent 10,000 XLM from one exchange to the other because I was going to sell it and I was going to buy it back in something else and then resend something else to save on fees? Well, when I sent it to, and this is a true story, I shared it in real time. On HOTCOIN, for whatever reason, it said that it was pending and nothing happened for like 16 hours. I complained to customer service and all of a sudden this 10,000 showed up. It actually showed up as 9,999. So all but one XLM. Then all of a sudden, 6 hours later, I get a message from their emergency department that said, we investigated, we found that your stuff was never sent and we sent you the 10,000 XLM just now. And I look, I'm like, wait a minute, what? So now I got 10,000 XLM that I never even paid for on a HOTCOIN. So now I'm looking at it saying, holy shit, the gods worked in my favor on this one. And now I'm going to let Uphold off the hook. Not in the sense that I'm going to stop nagging them, but in the sense my conscience is clear because God just made up for this. And I just got an error in my favor. So I literally have 10,000 XLM that I never paid for. while Uphold has 1,000 XRP that they never paid for of mine. Isn't that kind of weird if you think about it? So, and that's never happened to me before, and it's never happened before or since that an exchange made a mistake. But all I did was I simply withdrew the XLM right away, and if the exchange tries to say something, oops, just like when I send it to the wrong address, sorry, you sent it to the wrong address and it's mine now. You're not taking it back now. There's no KYC on the exchange later, so who says I wouldn't just delete the account? You know, so that's what I mean. It happens both ways. So if you don't think the exchange can send stuff the wrong way, they can. But I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But their books obviously are not in order. And that was my first sign that something ain't right here with the liquidity. They don't even know what they're sending where. So that actually happened to me last year. About 11 months into this venture with Uphold, which is kind of funny. So sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. And I've had it both sides in 1 year. And I actually came out ahead because 10,000 XLM right now is worth $3,362, as where 1,000 XRP is only worth $2,585. So has that ever happened to anybody? Out of curiosity. Because that has never happened to me in any market I've ever traded in, nor has it happened before or since. And I'm talking commodities, crypto, stock market. It's never happened. But I'll take it. I will absolutely take the good fortune. Let's see. So we did, we need to do Algo. How many minutes has it been? 56. The comments must not be coming through now. See, they shadow banned me when I started talking about certain things, these bastards. Let me pull up my phone. I'm dreaming it happens to me. Oh, the tax forms from Uphold are nice. There's no doubt about that. Show them what if they want it back? What do you mean? My account's not KYC. Good luck. It's already off the exchange. You mean just like when if they steal something from me and they claim that it was sent wrong, they'll never give it back. Whoops. Sorry. That's already been, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Just like they tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. If they want it back, I would just cancel my account. There's no KYC. I have no validation to the account. It's been 9 months. They don't even know what happened. Or 7 months or whatever. I was petting my goldfish and not listening to me. That is awesome. You're wrong. The crypto exchange is not a bank, friend. It's not a bank because if you made a mistake in a bank, you could easily get your money back. If there was some kind of fraudulent or misrepresentation of where it went, you could put a stop. You can't do it on crypto. So, correct, a bank always gets their money back, but what's the one thing you have in a bank? Your personal information's on file. What happens when you don't have a KYC and know your customer? They don't know who the fuck you are. George, HOTCOIN was promoted and they're not safe at all. I've 100% gave 10,000 warnings about HOTCOIN. Although you can use it for XDC, IOTA, and VELO, I've said 100 times over that I don't trust them, which is why I don't have a lot of liquidity on there, and that their futures trading seems to be a big ripoff. I've said this a million times. Their copy trading was a scam, and that I wouldn't trust them if I had another exchange. Sure, I'll tell you where you can buy stuff, but as far as promoting them, I've said this is where you can buy stuff, and if I bought it from there, I would send it off of their exchange immediately and put it into a wallet, or you got to have a little bit of funds if you're just going to play it that way. So don't misrepresent what I'm saying in the comments. I don't do that. So that's the end of this live. I'm not going down this road with misrepresentation. I'm going to end this with Algo. I appreciate everybody, but we're not going down that direction. If you're going to comment on things I say, be factual. That's the bottom line. If you're going to speak for XRP Future Millionaire, speak for Tom, don't lie about it. Or don't misrepresent it. If you don't have the facts, you are lying and misrepresenting it. So It's the bottom line, man. Don't try to put words into my mouth. It causes more destruction than it causes help. So with Algo in the 4 hourly, looks like a little inverted hammer. But until we break out of this little channel at 27.27, well, I guess you don't even have to call it a channel, but there is a little bit of a channel. We got to break past that and then 28.4. And then I still think we could be building this inverse head and shoulders. So we're going to watch this. It's in this wider pattern right now, so we have to get past it. But it is a falling channel technically, or kind of like a little bit of a flag setup. So I don't see anything wrong with this at all. But I'm XRP Future Million. I'm going to go. I've had about as much as I can take this morning. So that's where we stand. We can all we can agree to disagree on a lot of stuff. We can all agree to disagree on a lot of stuff. We all have our opinions. Let's see. I see what's going on here. I see what's going on. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. Oh, George. Of course it was after they had problems. How else would you know that there was an issue, my friend? Without using something and you don't have the experience of an exchange, and once you start seeing problems, you start letting people know. That's how it works. That's called being truthful with my audience. That's how it works. If you don't know something, you're not going to know what to say. It's no different than what happened with BitGet and all the other ones that we thought were good, and then all of a sudden they started detaching from the USA. You don't know till you know. I didn't know Uphold was going to screw me over till it did. And many of you are still using it. So you don't know until you know. No, there will be no live tonight. I can 100% guarantee that. Because I'm doing the live this morning. It's a weekend. So yeah, there's that. I'm making soup tonight because I'm still under the weather a little bit. Let's see, anything else I missed? George, misrepresentation and lying go hand in hand. You're misrepresenting what I say. That is indeed a factual lie. Let's see. But everybody, thank you so much. I just wanted to acknowledge George because apparently this is just going to keep coming up from George since he continues to say the exact same thing. So next time I'll just ignore it, but people need to know. That's the one exchange that I said, if I was the one doing it, I wouldn't trust it based on liquidity issues that I've discovered and based on different issues that I've had through copy trading and other things with them. I'm actually not upset. I'm trying to clear the air, but it's, I don't know. Because you sometimes feel something and, so with XLM, it's either, we got to get, I got to go though. My son wants me. We need to pass this first area is good, but we got to get past the resistance at 34.1 cents. Until we break that 34.1 cents, we can't really go anywhere. This pattern can continue to play out until about the beginning of March. And then if it plays past in the channel, it could be a little bit longer, but I'm going to go. Have a good day, everybody. Don't harm yourselves. Be helpful with each other. Humility, humbleness, yada, 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 so on and so forth.